Okay, what I'm doing is I'm going over the white for the first time. Most of what was here in white was blank canvas, but bit by bit this white is getting painted. So let's see if I can get an angle where we can see this. So this process delights me because at this point the canvas is starting to get full, where every pixel of the canvas has been touched with paint. It's going from being partly painted to having no raw material left. Mind you, I'm going to have to do this a bunch of times because as I go over this in white now, then I'll come back with blue and green and gold and touch up some of the areas that have been painted over with white and have become dull. So I'll touch up and strengthen the gold and the green and the blue. And then when I do that, that'll cover some of the white again. So I'll come back over the white and strengthen the white again. And then, repeat the process until the canvas becomes really rich. Also, at a certain point when there's enough oil on the canvas, the brush can start to dance and change color. So I don't need to dip necessarily anymore. I can just go for it. But one interesting story I'll tell. This morning, I've been in the middle of the most bizarre journey financially of my life. I don't have a lot of money. I'm here not working and just sort of trusting God to provide. And I have a little bit of money in my bank account, but I ran out of cash. And about a month ago, I tried to take some money out of a bank machine and it didn't work. So I went to the bank on the Monday and said, hey, I tried to take some money out of the bank machine and it didn't work. And not only that, it took the money out of my account in Canada. So they said, okay, let us look into it. You'll hear back from us in a week or so. So I went that week, no cash in my hand, and no cash left in my bank account because it was in the ether, waiting to hear back. And then finally the money reappeared back in my bank account in Canada. And I went to the bank and tried to take it out with a teller, but they're like, no, we can't even give money out by teller. It has to come out through the bank machine, but don't worry, we're sending one of our guys out to the bank machine with you. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he'll help you get your money out. So I do that, and the exact same thing happens. Even with him helping, it doesn't give me the money, but it takes it out of my account in Canada. So it's like, oh, this is getting frustrating. So I speak to the bank manager and say, look, this is actually the third time this has happened now. What's going on? Like, I need some cash. Like, I have plans that I'd like to do this weekend, and I can't do without any cash in hand. So he looks into it, and he's like, no, it's like, the funds are being rejected here by the bank machine. So it's like, it's not like we've got your money. It's like not getting to our bank machine, and that's why the bank machine's not giving money to you. So that meant I had to call the bank in Canada, which was difficult to do because I don't have an international plan with my cell phone here in Brazil. And so it took me a while to figure out how to get a hold of anyone in Canada, and I finally did, and they were like, blah, 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 and back to the bank and blah, 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 dealing with the manager. And finally, after about another week or so, the money returned to my account. But I'm like, okay, well, I can't do the bank machine anymore, so how can I get out some cash? So I get advised, no, do a wire transfer. You could do an international bank transfer, but because you don't have that set up on your account, you'd have to set that up on your account, but you can't do that because To set that up, we have to send you a text message, and we'd send it to your Canadian phone number, which no longer exists. So money transfer is the only way. So I asked a friend to money transfer, and she's like, hey, I use Remitly. Why don't you just like get a Remitly account? Then you can send it directly from your account to the account where you want to send it there in Brazil. It's like, cool. So I do that, talk to my host sister Vanessa, and send the money, and then it gets canceled. And then I have to get a hold of Remitly and say, hey, why did this transfer get a freeze put on it? And they're like, oh, it's because you're in Brazil trying to send money to Brazil from Canada. And then like the call center I called, like just what I was hearing in the background gave me a like real sketchy feeling. And then they're like, no, we need you to confirm your account again, even though I had already done their confirmation. Give us all your bank account information, your account number, your bank number, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, whoa, you've already confirmed that you're talking to me. You have my bank account information when I made the transaction. I don't know who you are. I don't want to give you this information. They're like, fine, then you can't use our service. So it's like, okay, back to the drawing board. And I just had no peace to go forward with that. So from there, I'm like, okay, I'll contact my dad and ask him if he could just go to the bank and arrange an international bank transfer like I could have set up through TD. Just talk to a teller and do that. Well, anyway, he tries to send it on, the regular way. No, actually he didn't. He monkeys around trying to figure out how to do it on his own. And then he finally goes into the bank, but it's a holiday at the bank. So the next day he's monkeying around, doesn't go into the bank again. And then his internet gets shut off. And then because he doesn't have a cell phone, like his email is the only way I can talk to him. And now he's dead in the water. So then I go to my brother and say, okay, international bank transfer. I was trying to get Dad to help me. Do you mind stepping in? And my brother tries to get it going, goes to the bank. They want to charge $50 to send an international bank transfer, which is ridiculous. And so he decides, no, I'll just do an e-transfer, which doesn't work because e-transfers only work nationally, not internationally. And so he tries to do that, and it doesn't go through. So I'm like, no, dude, you can't do that, and it's not working. So like, you got to cancel that. And if it's going to be $50 to send an international transfer, you're going to have to use Western Union. So he goes into Western Union and tries to set that up. And I'll tell you, the information that was needed, like they were asking for numbers that nobody here knew what the heck that even is or how to find those numbers. And one of the numbers called a BIC number that has to do with the specific bank location where my host sister banks. She looked something up online and had a number, which was for the Bradesco Bank for Brazil. And I gave that number. Then she's like, oh, no, hold on. This is saying like this BIC number is supposed to be specific to the individual branch. So I'm pretty sure the number I gave is wrong. So I told my brother that and said, just hold on. We're just waiting to confirm that number. There's a problem. And then he got impatient, or his wife got impatient and just sent the transfer anyway to the wrong set of numbers, which means it's like lost in ether again. So so finally I'm like, dude, you got to cancel that transfer because it's not going to go through. And he's like, I'm out. This has been too much. I've already put in hours trying to figure this out for you. This is stupid. I'm like, by this point, I've gone to the mall. I've talked to the international money change place at the mall and said, hey, how do I do this? They're like, hey, if you send money with MoneyGram, someone just needs your full name. They can pay the money wherever they are, and they'll get a code. And if they give you that code and then you show up with your ID, with the exact same, make sure they have your name correct, exactly the same as it is on your passport. Then with that code in your passport, you can pick it up here. So I spoke to a friend of mine and said, can you help me out? And she's like, done it. Well, in the process, suddenly I can't I can't log into my own bank account to transfer her over the money that she sent me, but she's like, that's cool, just, get it to me when you can. And then I went to go pick up the money yesterday, and that place was the only place in the mall that was closed on Sunday. And so the sign on the door says, hey, we're closed Sundays, we're open tomorrow at 9, like we're open weekdays from 9 till 9. And so this morning I went to pick up my money, and it's like, no, it's holidays, so everything is closed until noon. So it's just like, it's been a soap opera of just trying to get some cash, and in the process, it's been a month of walking around without a penny in my pocket to spend. So it's been a real interesting process, and it's just been one, bizarre gobsmack of errors after another. So yeah, anyway, as I went to walk there today though, it was just like I was getting a little discouraged, and in my faith I was just talking with Jesus, and I just felt like he was holding my hand. And so I walked to the mall, and it's like, okay, finally going to get the money, and then find out, oh, it's not open until noon. And it's like, wow, this was a completely wasted walk, a completely wasted trip. Except I realized that it wasn't, because in the process, instead of getting upset, I just stayed in that place of communion, and just was patient, and just started to believe that, hey, actually the point was the walk and the conversation, the prayer time. And now coming back from that, I feel like that patience that has been developed in me has just given me an ability to see this piece in a level of detail and work more patiently on it, with a greater expectation for being able to accomplish like this really difficult task of filling in all these fine lines in blue, gold, and green with white. And so it's interesting how my life journey seems to be facilitating my painting journey. Anyway, just thought I'd share that.